right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Week 8 of the First and 20 NFL podcast. I'm joined, as always, by my cohort.
The Warden of the North, or the King of the North, rather. I guess Matt Woods, broadcasting live from beautiful, chilly, debatably peak New Hampshire. This is fall. This is the time of year. And hosting with me is...
My name's Darius, and I'm coming to you live from the rolling hills of the many gorges of central New York, where it is starting, the lake effect is raining down upon us. It is currently in its rain form. Give it a couple weeks, it will be full-blown snow. It has not stopped raining, drizzling for the past week right now, so we are in the midst of that season.
Could be worse. Could be Florida, where it rains every day.
We're in the fourth wealthiest state of the entire country, and the richest country in the world. I tell my students that. Could be worse. Could be worse.
Could be a lot worse. All right.
So we got an action-packed schedule, as always. I'm going to be, Matt and myself will be doing Pick the Lines. Matt, did you figure out a segment?
I did figure out a segment.
Okay, so we're going to do Matt's segment. I know we want to keep it a little bit short because Matt's Red Sox are currently playing in the World Series as we're speaking. This is being disseminated live from a Wednesday night. Okay, so Red Sox World Series Game 2 is on right now. My best bets, and then we might do a little baseball talk. We'll see. We'll see how badly Matt wants to watch the Red Sox. All right, so let's get right into it. So we got Pick the Line, Week 8. We are almost halfway through the season. Almost halfway. After this week, we will be at the halfway mark. Some teams are starting to form playoff runs. Some teams are starting to drop out the race, and some teams don't know what they have. And speaking of teams that don't know what they have, we have two teams on Thursday Night Football. We got another barn burner Thursday Night Football game. We have the Miami Dolphins visiting Houston. All right. So both teams are coming in at 4-3, surprising 4-3s. Both teams are right in the thick of it. The Texans are leading their division, and the Dolphins are only, one game out?
Currently, as it stands, believe it or not, they are one game out.
Before we talk about this, Matt, can you tell me one Dolphin player that you think will still be on the team in 2 years?
Okay. I was going to pick Drake for next year, but they not only are incredible at making running backs, but they're incredible at not keeping them. So, I don't know. That's actually insanely hard. I honestly couldn't tell you one, because every new star they have is someone they grow and then immediately lose. So
in true Miami fashion. Shout out to the Marlins.
Shout out to the Marlins. Shout out, the Marlins are rebuilding. They're fine. They're doing what they're trying to do. So Darius, who do you have in this game? Houston is the 7.5-point favorite.
For me, again, disclaimer, it's a Thursday night game. Strange things happen in Thursday night games. Denver just blew out a team by 25 points on a Thursday night game, so that speaks for itself. Houston is favored by 7.5, as you said. I definitely am going to pick the Dolphins for this one because 7.5 is a ton. I get that they're home. But they have a quarterback who's averaging 180 yards, and he also has a bruised lung. Well, the Dolphins are rolling out Brock Osweiler, so it's not like I'm saying times are any better for them. But I'll take the point, 7.5. An injured Deshaun Watson is almost, it was a little bit better than Brock Osweiler, but I'll take the points.
I picked the Texans. I think they're going to slaughter it on Thursday. Why not? I think the game's going to be a slaughter. The rocket launcher is going to come out and he's going to fire away, but the Texans they have them. And yeah, I haven't been right so far, so take my advice with a grain of salt.
We did the math from 2 weeks ago, our last podcast. I won every controversial pick. I swept the board. I won all 5 of our controversial picks. Matt put up the goose egg.
Put up a good fight. Kansas City, covered.
Yeah, I won by a half point on a couple of them with Minnesota and the Patriots, both not covering by half a point.
Yeah.
Okay. So I got that one down.
Atta baby. All right. So, next up, we have your beautiful, pure Philadelphia Eagles.
We're in the Super Bowl champion
the,
sweatshirt as we speak.
Against the Jacksonville Jaguars, which I learned apparently were a joke on the show The Good Place. They thought it was so embarrassing to be a Jaguars fan.
Huh.
That and people who take off their socks and shoes on planes. Those are the things they make fun of, and I think they're both equivalently silly things. Nah, the Jaguars are fine. They went to the AFC Championship game. But in Jacksonville, Philly is still favored by 3. Darius, what's your
Well,
pick
this is
on that?
actually in London. Tickets are currently going for $400.
Oh.
It's coming from Wembley Stadium. As you can see, the 9:30 start time, so I got to be up early Sunday morning. So if the Eagles are favored by 3, this is basically a home game. Sir Blake Bortles will be unleashed on my poor Eagles, as the old saying goes. Sir Blake Bortles is a living god when he's in England.
He's
I
regular
think
England.
he's averaging somewhere between 300 and 400 yards a game over there passing. So this is going to be a tough one, but I'm a homer. I'll pick the Eagles, but I think that this is going to be a toss-up.
Oh. Yeah. I will pick the Jaguars, I guess. Because this is like a really, really rough game. I mean, the Jaguars are basically at home in London. This is their place as much as it is anyone else's.
Love the Jags in England.
Yeah. I'll pick the Jaguars. Why not?
All right, starting off.
Also, the Eagles kind of look cool. I directly watched their game last Sunday because it was a NFL Red Zone or whatever, and it was them and the Patriots on because we were watching them.
Mm-hmm.
The Eagles fell apart.
I know. They blew a 17-point lead. Pretty bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
And they didn't look great throughout the rest of the game either. It's just that Carolina snapped and Eric Reed, was a jerk the whole game. No, man, you're fighting Malcolm Jenkins. He's a nice guy. And I didn't hear enough about what makes him a traitor to.
Yeah, I think it's because Jenkins stopped kneeling, so he got pissed off that he stopped kneeling because he had a meeting at the White House and he basically raised a bunch of money for Black Lives Matter movement. So
yeah,
he
raised
traded.
$100 million.
So I'm not necessarily agreeing or disagreeing with Reed's beef, but I'm just bringing the facts. That's what happened.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it just seems like if he would be angry because Malcolm Jenkins might have sold out Colin Kaepernick by settling for $100 million, but not letting Cap in the league. But that didn't seem to be Reed's argument, so I don't really get it. Because what Jenkins did was a success, but that's neither here nor there. Sorry, that's just the discussion that is currently swirling, and I guess will swirl around this league forever.
2018 NFL.
Case Keenum in 50 years will be starting, and we'll still be wondering why Colin Kaepernick is in the league or not in the league. I don't know. But yeah, Jaguars Eagles. That's a game. If you're up at 9:30 in the morning and you really want to watch some football, this is definitely the game for you. If you're in England and you're listening, number one.
How?
Okay.
How?
It surprises me, but number two, hey, watch the game. Go see it.
Hey, enjoy it being on at 1.
You get to see your home team, the London Jaguars, play Philadelphia Eagles.
They're saying Oakland might have a year there because they don't have a contract in Oakland for next season, so they basically don't have a place to play. So they might just go to Wembley. But also the Jaguars owners trying to buy Wembley Stadium. So that was both interesting points. So we might have a future team in England. That's
just because Khan has more money than what he can think to do. Yeah, he is rich. But maybe he will like it. Anyways, next matchup. Jets Bears in Chicago. Chicago's favored by 7.
Wowzers.
What do you think?
Well, I like both these teams. I think both of them are frisky. I think either of them can win any given Sunday. Either of them can lose any given Sunday. I
Mm.
like the Jets' run game. I like the Bears' defense. I don't like Mitch Trubisky. I never will. Not personally, but as a quarterback, I'm
Yeah.
very glad he's not quarterbacking my team. Um, I'll go with the Jets. Just give me the points. I think either team can win, either team can lose. But the Bears are home. But 7's a lot.
Um, Mitch Trubisky looked like hot garbage in the game. Legitimately, I've defended the man, his ability to make big plays, but my God, did he look like garbage out there? That was awful. That was just terrible. Every time he tried to make a read, like beyond his first or second read, he'd just run. He'd just run away. He'd get shook out of the pocket so easily and just run away. And if there's a team that can bring pressure or get an efficient spy, he's dead. I don't think the Jets are the team that can do that. And 7 is a lot, but this defense is fired up after nearly playing their way back in the game last week. I picked the Bears in this one.
Wow. All right, I'll write that down too. We got the first 3. We're off to a hot start. First 3 we disagree on. I'll write it down. You introduce the next one.
The next one will be the Tampa Bay Trash Fires against the Cincinnati Bengals.
Is Fitzmagic even still in the dictionary? Has it just been...
No.
Is the magic over? Has it just been quenched?
They have Jay Molester, Jameis Winston, starting the game. Cincinnati's favored by 4.5. I think that's fair. I mean, the Bengals are my pick. They're good enough right now. The Buccaneers are definitely not good enough right now.
Yeah, I'm surprised this line isn't any higher. Cincinnati by 4.5 seems like a bargain. I'm assuming this is because Cincinnati just lost by like 30 against Kansas City last Sunday. But I think they'll rebound. The Bucs are pretty random. They can win. They can be close at least. So, but I'll go with the safe bet. I think Cincinnati's the safe bet.
Yeah, that's fair. Wow, we just agreed.
There it was.
I'm blown away. It's been so long.
It's been 84 years.
It's been 2 weeks. Also, sorry about the absence last week. We just weren't able to get it together. A lot of things were in motion. We try to do it week to week. We try our best, especially because football is such a constant sport in that. But, some weeks we just aren't able to put it together.
True.
Next up, the Lions and the Seahawks.
What was this? This was an NFC divisional game, I think, a couple of years back with Kelvin Johnson, and basically backpacked them to the playoffs. And this is when the Seahawks were at the peak of their powers. I think this was 2015.
This is a weird one because is Damon Harrison factored into this?
I don't think he may be playing. For those who haven't been updated, he just got traded to the Lions from the Giants today.
Yeah, former All-Pro defensive tackle. Traded for a 5th-round pick, which I thought was curious. But either way, Matt Patricia is practically drooling over the fact that he just got this new defensive talent right when his team is kind of figuring itself out, I think. And Detroit's favored by 3, and I think that's very fair. I think the Seahawks are rebuilding too much, and Matt Patricia is just ready to start trying to take the NFC North.
Yeah, I think one of these teams has to make the playoffs. One of these two teams is going to be the wild card, one of the 2 wild cards. Are we right? Because there's not going to be one out of the NFC East. That's a given. And then the West, it's only San Fran and Arizona. They're done. We cross them off. The NFC South, Tampa, the Panthers, and the Falcons. The Falcons and Tampa's basically on their last breath. They got to do something here quick to show some life. So the Panthers, and then one of these 2, if you ask me.
Wow.
Maybe the Packers, too. Factor them in. Packers, Vikings, maybe
still have Aaron
the
Rodgers
Bucs,
for now.
But I think we'll be seeing one of these 2 teams who are in a strange phase in their current state make the playoffs. Kind of in no man's land right now.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I'll go with the Seahawks just because I think that they're pretty equal. Lions are very random. They can either win by a lot, lose by a lot. They did lose by 30 to the Jets, although it was September. But I will take Seattle +3.
Nice. There you go. You took Seattle? Oh, wow. Oh, we disagreed again.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree
Yeah,
for too
yeah. It
long.
wasn't gonna last too long, man.
Next up, and this is going to be a fun one. Kansas City
What?
in Kansas City is favored by 10 against the Broncos. I don't know who's making the line, but I'm taking the Broncos easily in this one.
What's your reasoning?
Number one, Kansas City can suck it. We beat them. Hey, any Kansas City fans listening, trash talk me on Twitter. I don't really care. I have free time. I'm not Axl Rose. I don't have anything better to do, although he debatably doesn't either. For anyone who doesn't know, lead singer of Guns N' Roses, he'll trash talk you on Twitter. He'll fight with you on Twitter. Apparently he doesn't have anything to do, so he just does that. Hey, I'm just a dude. I'll trash talk you on Twitter. Actually, I won't. I don't like to do that. Not that mean. But, no, the Broncos have a very good running game right now. They've figured some things out in the running game that make it like pretty efficient relatively. So that, combined with the Chiefs having a trash heap run defense, means that if the Broncos can control the ball, they can pretty much get a really solid run game, get some time control, get some clock management, possibly keep the Chiefs off of the field. You get a couple stops on the Chiefs, which their defense might be able to do. You control the clock. You could win the game or come up with less than a 10-point win for Kansas City. I remember them not being... I remember this being a decently close game last time they met.
It was.
I don't
Broncos almost
see...
won.
Yeah, I don't see this as an easy 10-point favorite.
I'm going to agree with you. That's what my point was going to be. They almost beat them at home on Monday night a month ago. So this is going to be a closer. And then also another good point is when these division games happen, you've seen a team once already. Normally you understand what each team's trying to do, so that kind of counters each other, so it makes for a close game. So I think 10's a lot. I will also take Denver, so we agree. Again.
Okay. There we go.
Next up, we have the first place Washington Redskins in New Jersey visiting the 1-6 Giants, who, if you're on the Giants, you better be updating your phone as often as possible.
Trade. Yeah, the Giants are rebuilding. Sorry, Redskins. It's a 1-point favor, which is pretty fair. They're relatively hot, and the Giants are. That was a strike. Yeah, yell at him, David Price. That was a strike. The ump's drunk. That caught the plate. Redskins are whatever right now. Giants just are rebuilding. I don't know why they're shopping out a lot of the defense. Apple makes sense. I've heard he's locker room cancer. I've heard he's really not good to have there. Damon Harrison, I would assume the same thing if he's being shipped that cheap.
Yeah,
especially
I think they're
with the
just
recent
kind of giving up. They want to start a full-on rebuild. They'll probably try to draft a quarterback.
I don't
Just
think it's a
blow it up.
full-on.
Blow it up.
I don't think it's a full-on. I think that they'll
You got
keep some
Odell
of the
going through a
defensive pieces.
psychosis.
I mean, that a full-on rebuild assumes they're getting rid of the big guys, and they're not getting rid of Landon Collins. They're not keeping. They might get rid of Jenkins, but I don't think they're getting rid of Landon Collins, Saquon Barkley, all their new youngish guys. I don't think they're shopping them. The guys who they like in terms of leadership. Hell, I don't even think they're getting rid of Eli fully. I think they'll keep him on.
Oh yeah, they'll keep
as a backup. As a backup for the next couple of years, unless he retires. I think they'll keep him on. He's a good veteran presence to have on the team.
Yeah, I agree.
And he can teach a young quarterback about the ropes and everything.
Which is surprising they haven't even attempted to keep a quarterback under his reign, unless you count Webb.
Well, what about Lauletta?
Who?
Kyle Lauletta. They just drafted him last year.
Is he still on the team?
Yeah.
Oh wow, you know more than I do. Kyle
Oh,
Lauletta.
I like Lauletta. I thought he was a pretty decent pick. The Patriots didn't take him, so he sucks.
Oh yeah,
and
Richmond.
Worse. No, but I actually thought he was a pretty fair pick, and Giants did all right choosing him.
Yeah.
We'll see how they build the line in the future, but Washington for this game easily.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Washington too. Pretty crazy how they'll probably be 5-2 and have a strong grip on the NFC East.
Mm-hmm. All right, next up, Browns Steelers.
Steelers.
Browns.
Pittsburgh's favored by 8.5. That's a lot. That's a hefty
That's a
amount,
lot.
especially for a Browns team who plays teams so close. But I still think the Browns are the 31st best team in the NFL, so I'll take Pittsburgh out of stubbornness. I think Pittsburgh's offense is nice.
I will choose Cleveland every week, and they will let me down every week. But that does not mean I will stop choosing them. Yeah, I'll take Cleveland. Hey, they can pull it out in weird places, so. Just like a guy fiddling with himself on a subway, they can pull it out in weird places, you know? I think that the Browns might be able to have something, at least a close game here.
Yeah.
I think a touchdown game is like a very fair thing to play in. So, Pittsburgh, sorry guys, picking Cleveland here. I take it you're typing, so I'll announce the next one. In Carolina, we have the Panthers, the Cam Newtons, versus the Baltimore Joe Flacco's. It's the Ravens Panthers in Carolina. Baltimore's favored by 2,
Wow.
which is a little crazy considering Carolina just won, but Baltimore actually has a good defense and debatably a better team. What's your thought on it?
This one's surprising because Carolina's no pushover, so they should be favored at home theoretically. In Baltimore, it's not like they did anything too crazy last week. Yeah, I'm gonna let you speak a little bit upon this. I'm gonna do some inside research that you only find here on the First and 20 NFL podcast. I'm gonna see what the money line is for this game, and that should tell me where people are putting their money on. Because I'm assuming that people are picking Carolina in droves. So I'm going to do a little bit of research. So you can speak on this for a minute or two. I'm going to look into this one.
If you ever doubted how live this podcast was, the answer is very.
Yeah, Baltimore lost last week too. So
I'm picking Baltimore. Bounce back week. You say the Panthers aren't pushovers. I say they kind of are. This is a team that has some things really together, but has a lot of flaws. Baltimore is a more solidly built team. Yeah, they have Joe Flacco at quarterback, but they do have Joe Flacco at quarterback. Hey, Lamar Jackson in a year or two, guys. Be happy. I think they're overall a more solid team with a pretty killer defense, but every year they have a pretty killer defense. You could even debate it's one of the most consistent defenses of the last 10, 15 years. They are just good every year, and the Panthers don't really have that. Panthers could potentially get beat pretty bad. So I guess I'll pick Baltimore.
Okay. So I did some research, and my studies show that this game opened as a pick'em, which means there was no line. You picked one or the other. So that says to me that people bet so much on the Ravens that the line, in fact, went up.
Interesting.
So I'm definitely going with Carolina because I think getting points as the road favorite against the Panthers, who are 4-2 and 3-0 at home, is a little bit absurd. So I will definitely take Carolina.
All right. Not bad, not bad. Another disagreement. And I will introduce the next Wow. Again? Seriously? Another road favorite? The Colts are favored by 3 going to Oakland
Wow.
to
The
face the
Colts are the
Raiders.
road favorite. I
Yeah,
like that one.
that is quite the dude. They just called. They didn't call that strike for the other team. They got a walk on that exact same pitch. Are you kidding me? Is that a joke? You yoking me, dog? Oh yeah, show it to him, Mookie. Put it right in there.
Can't please everybody.
It's the same pitch, man. Give us a makeup call. Not even a makeup call. Just make it a fair call for both teams. Like, it's literally in the same place. I think. Oh, the Raiders play so well, but I don't think they want to win. And come Sunday, I don't know who they'll have on their team. Considering I pray to God they trade Derek Carr and build a team in John Gruden's perfect image. I think John Gruden is currently looking over college teams and seeing what 30-year-old quarterbacks he can draft in the first round next year.
Did Derek Carr cry? Let me get your take on that.
No, but he was definitely in the cry zone. I think a lot of people, when feeling that and as overwhelmed as he was, would have cried, but I did not see tears. The definition was not insanely good, but I saw no tears. But he was in the cry zone. He did not look like a leader when his face was crumpling up like a child that needed its binky. I actually don't think he's like... I think if you trade him to the Jaguars, like, that is definitely a trade that works for both teams.
I think
they
that
get
they're
experience.
Like similar quarterbacks. I just think Carr's a little bit more consistent, but also a little bit of a oddball when it comes to leadership. I'm not too
really
sure about him.
Leader. He's kind of defaults to other people. Like, he was all broken up. He's like, everyone like Khalil Mack. Why do you get traded? I was like, dude, you're not a... Like, you're clearly not the leader in your own locker room from how he described, like, his relationship with Khalil Mack.
Yeah, he showed himself as not being the leader by his interviews.
Yeah, either way, if you trade him, at least he's got the arm talent, which is what Jacksonville needs. They don't need a leader. That's what Fournette is for. This will be quite the curious game. Maybe the Raiders will pick it up.
Okay.
I'll pick the Raiders. Why not?
I'm going to go with Indy. My quarterback crush and Andrew Luck still going very strong. Give this team a little more talent. I think that they're, even this year, if a couple games could have swung their way, they'd have a winning record. They'd be right in first place. So I like this Colts team. Raiders are a dumpster fire. To those who picked the Raiders win total at the beginning of the season was 7. So whoever picked the under for that one, bravo. You're smarter.
I'd also like to say there's a big difference between a dumpster fire and a rebuilding team. The Oakland Raiders last year were not a winning team, and I thought they would be rebuilding, and I think they're rebuilding now. I don't think they're a dumpster fire because clearly Gruden understands that this is not the team that is going to win him any championships. He's shedding players. He's
a guy who sees that he's going to be there for the long haul, so that if he shows that he's actually trying in his first year and that he doesn't get results, that he'll look weak. So he's taking the what's that card in Jeopardy called? The get out of jail free card. This is what I like to call
Monopoly.
the get out of jail. Yeah, the Monopoly get out of jail free card. That is exactly what Gruden's taking right here.
Hey, he's a tough guy. He likes a team built his way. I don't doubt that, maybe that's an option, but I think he actually, it's shown by the trade of Khalil Mack. I think he's got a team that was definitely not the team he wanted, and he's reshaping it in his own image. His deal said they literally can't fire him for a few years. With a new, stadium, a move that they have to afford, I actually don't think they can afford to fire Gruden for a few years. So,
this is the reason I call their franchise not a Very flammable situation.
Very combustible.
Yes.
We disagreed again. Who's surprised? Obviously, I pick my boy Gruden and the Raiders. I think they need to win sometime. They need to win sometime. Next up, we do actually have
Oh, so this is the primetime game, Sunday night. This is the game of the week, thus the music. That's all. That's all I wanted to say. Yeah, you can. I'm sorry for interrupting you.
No, that's not an interruption. I was just thinking, like, is this the game of the week? Is this the best we have to offer?
It's Aaron Rodgers versus an undefeated team in the Coliseum. I'm excited. I'm fired up.
Yeah, but that's the problem. It's Aaron Rodgers versus a team.
Exactly.
It's Aaron Rodgers himself on the football field alone against a very, very good Rams team. Yeah, you know what? Rams have a 9.5 point. God, they're favored by 9.5. I'm gonna pick the Packers.
Huh.
Only because I think the Rams will win, but I think Rodgers will force feed his team into making it a closer game.
Okay. I'm gonna go with the Rams. I think that they're gonna get too out front too early. That even Rodgers himself can't come back. I'll take the 9.5. Man, Matt, what is going on?
I'm most likely getting every prediction wrong.
This is like our most. Yeah, this is our most. I think we've only had like 2 games we've agreed on, if that.
Yeah, it's a divisive one here, and it's only going to get more divisive because I think I know where we're going on a couple of these next few ones. Yeah.
Game of the week, I'll be watching. You'll be watching the Red Sox if Game 5 happens. Maybe your Red Sox will sweep, but this will be a big day for LA. They got the Rams game simultaneously going on during the Dodgers second World Series home game.
Second World Series in as many years too.
Congrats to you, LA.
Congrats, LA. You're really doing it.
You bought it. You bought it.
You bought it. You literally bought it. Hey, I guess the Red Sox did too, but the Brewers can do the same thing, Darius. Don't you? No. $60 million isn't like a ton to spend. This isn't the Oakland A's in 2001. Teams can spend $60 million.
Okay.
Milwaukee's a decent market.
Okay, we're gonna talk about football.
Talk about football.
It hurts too much.
What was it?
Man, I'm going to tell you up front, I will not be spending a single second of my life watching this game. There's only like 3 teams we could say about that at this point, and 2 of them are playing. That is the 0-4 on the road San Francisco Gold Mining 49ers versus the 0-4 at home Arizona Redbirds. Both are 1-6. This is going to be an absolute barn burner. I know this one started out as a pick'em. Arizona beat the 49ers on the road. This is why I'm assuming that the Cardinals are the 1-point favorite. Man, let's just make this one quick. Give me the Cardinals.
49ers.
They're at home, and C.J. Beathard less than signed. Josh Rosen.
C.J. Beathard. Experience, man. It doesn't really matter who's at home or who's away, very clearly, because both teams suck at both of them.
Both teams are just not good at football.
I trust Rosen, but in a couple of years I trust Rosen. Right now, why not pick Beathard? He has experience. That's how it's going to be. We're disagreeing. Again, I knew you picked the Cardinals, though.
Yeah, I knew you picked your Jimmy G's.
The San Francisco injured Jimmy Garoppolo. Next up, the night game. This is actually a pretty good game.
Rematch.
Saints Vikings.
Run it back.
Minnesota's favored by 1 in Minnesota. Who do you have?
Man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't even know who I have. That's how much I don't even. This game's gonna be good.
Mm.
If I had the option, I try not to say I'm gonna skip them, and I'm not gonna skip them. But give me a minute. I'm gonna let you pick this one.
Okay. Vikings have looked hot lately. Everson Griffin's back. Vikings. Boom. Done. Easy. Hope I gave you time to think
Yeah,
about
you
it.
did. Just to stick to the program, I'm gonna go with the Saints. Give me Drew Brees in a dome during prime time with his experience. I'll take the Saints. Give me the point.
Yeah. Hey, fair point. I just also saw an interesting thing where they questioned how many Saints draft picks are left after all of these trades.
Yeah, I think they only have like two or three this year. They don't have their first, second, and fourth for 2019.
They got Davenport. They got a bunch of other people. Best of luck.
Hey, they're in win now mode. I don't blame them. When Drew Brees is 37 and still putting up the numbers he's putting up, go for it now when you can.
I thought he's like 39.
Well, as you know, the First and 20 is a live podcast, and we give you the live facts. Drew Brees at this exact second is 39. You're right. Get what you can out of the man, Grandpappy Brees. Get what you can out of Grandpappy Brees. He's a legend. He's still one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league at 39. He's coming for your boy, Tommy Touchdown.
How dare you say that? How dare you speak that sacrilege?
Brees, man,
dude,
he's a year away from being the GOAT.
I
said it.
He's never won MVP.
He was
has
on your friend's Mendoza
one Super
line.
Bowl. He has one Super Bowl. The guy's not the GOAT. He's a top quarterback of the era. I'd venture to say a top quarterback of all time, possibly top 10. Definitely not top 5. He's getting the records because he's in such a heavy pass offense. Don't you dare compare him to Tom Brady, the GOAT, the beautiful, the literal definition of everything you're supposed to do right at the quarterback.
So they brought a GOAT to training camp or something.
All
right. You'll get a minute to talk about your Patriots up next.
Yeah. What else? I had something else to say. No, Drew Brees, good quarterback. He's just getting a ton of stats, and kudos to him. Congrats on his records. I am happy for him. He's put up with a lot. He has a big, he had a big comeback. He nearly didn't play to this point. You know? It's pretty incredible that he's here. What he's doing, considered, like 10, 12 years ago, people thought he was out of the league because of an injury. So, good job, Drew Brees. You really come far. Hey, you made New Orleans proud. They're very happy to have you. Next up, we have the New England Patriots against the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. New England's favored by 14. Let's hear it. Hear all your gripes.
You want to go to this game, Matt?
How much is it? $40? You joking me? I just traveled for a ton of money.
Yeah, I'm not going. You can't make me. You can't force me to go to this game. It's going to be a cold, maybe snowy blowout night in Buffalo, October 29th, with Derek Anderson leading the helm. Buffalo may have played. This is going to be tough to say, and this might be a little controversial considering how bad the Bills have been this decade, but their game against the Colts Sunday may have been their worst game of the decade. I watched basically that. I gave that game precedence over the Eagles game just because I wanted to see their last meaningful game, I guess you could say, and it was on the TV.
Yeah.
Derek Anderson, I think he had like 3 straight drives where his first pass was an interception, and I don't think I'm even being blowing that out of proportion. I think that actually happened. Maybe like 4 plays, 3 interceptions at the end of the game. My voice is sounding very grave because that's the situation in Buffalo right now.
I made a joke at one point. It was my best joke that I made my entire trip back to our old school. I was hanging out with my boys there. We were all watching football. The Bills game was one of our red zone games on. Oh, Jackie, there's no way. Oh, Jackie. Oh, come on, baby. Oh, yeah, he threw to third. That makes sense. Good move. Good luck. Hope Manny Machado, gets punched in the face. He wasn't involved in that play, except for being on first, but I hope he gets punched. Um, yeah, it's a crazy time to be alive. And my joke was I just said at one point during the game, everyone was fighting. My friend was depressed about the Eagles being down, and I said, "Hey, Derek Anderson's having a good game," and everyone just died laughing. What a time to be alive. Yeah, I'm sorry, Bills fans. Tom Brady is your father. He's 28-3 all time against the Bills. This is the most any quarterback in the Super Bowl era. It's the most wins any quarterback in the Super Bowl era has.
3 wins against Brady.
Yeah.
28? That's 14 seasons worth of wins.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's a pretty crazy. It's a gaudy stat line, considering the last big victory the Bills had was when in New England they shut out the Patriots because Jacoby Brissett went out there with a torn thumb muscle and couldn't pass the ball.
Okay, so he's 28-3 in games that he's. That's a good number for you guys, by the way. But he's.
That's the best of all time. No, the closest a quarterback has for those types of stats is Brett Favre had 26 wins against the Lions in his whole career.
Okay.
No quarterback has that many wins. It's a single team.
Did you get that though?
That is
28-3. Anything?
Yeah.
Anything? That number familiar to you?
Or
that score?
I didn't make that joke. There are people in Atlanta. They have feelings, man. I hate that. Everyone's like 28-3. Shut up. All right.
Hey, you're the one who brought that number, that stat up. Okay, not me. I'm just the. I don't have a dog in this race. 28-3. I'm just saying, maybe some Patriots fan is just making that one up to try to relive the glory of those two numbers.
That's just nasty.
So anyway, does this count for games that Brady doesn't start, this stat line? Because I think the Bills have got the Patriots in a few Week 17s when the Patriots are out of it, and so are the Bills.
I know one of the three was Brady started probably, but Jimmy G took over a few years ago when the Bills went more than 500. And they were celebrating while Devin McCourty was playing Angry Birds on the sideline. Yeah, I remember that. He started the game, so that might count. If Brady isn't starting, then it doesn't count. So,
all right, so I'm going to go with the Patriots for a Bill season that's so far seen a quarterback trio of ineptitude and a player quit during halftime. So that is probably one of the most Bills things we've seen out of a season. So I'm definitely going with New England.
I would actually go Bills because the line is so huge on New England. But the Bills have no quarterback, unable to throw anything but an interception.
Or checkdowns. Don't forget checkdowns.
Oh, don't forget checkdowns. They need yards somehow. No, but this is a huge problem. The Patriots' defense isn't that great right now, but the Bills can't throw the ball, so. And they can't totally run it either, depending on Shady's health.
Might be on the Eagles.
Quite the game. It's gonna be a game. I'm picking the Patriots. It's gonna be a big win. It's gonna get the Patriots. This is the game where people say, "Oh, the Patriots' defense is fixing itself up." No, we just faced a trash team. This is a garbage team. This is a team that ran Josh Allen so much he got hurt. Very stupidly, they wasted a high draft pick quarterback with injury.
Yep, they threw him right into the fire, and his ashes are now spreading across western New York.
A.J. McCarron Just
Oh
could have
man,
started.
could have kept AJ.
Could have
He'll
kept AJ.
probably be quarterbacking the Raiders here in a couple weeks when they
Hmm.
trade Carr.
He's nearly old enough.
So we
Nearly
agreed
30.
on only 5 games this week. So this will be very interesting. And we have an odd number, so somebody's going to win.
Mm. We'll see what goes down. And I think that's it for our picks of the week.
That is.
Um,
So I believe that you have a segment up next.
I do, and there's no fun, cute name for this yet, so I'm just going to describe it. This is the collegification of the National Football League.
Okay. You
feel
told me
like
this early in the week, and I only had like one idea of what this could be.
there are a ton of ideas for what this could be, to be honest with you, because, I mean, the NFL is a shifting league. There's no doubt about that. It's constant change, and there are old-timey players who would say, I like the NFL the way it used to be, when you could hit a quarterback when he was clearly down.
Hits back.
Yes, you could.
the NFL fun again.
When you could break
I
his
hate-
spine.
I hate living to 40.
Yeah, it's like, do you want your quarterbacks that you used to love be able to like pee by themselves when they're 60? Or do you want them to not be able to remember people's names at autographs when they're 42? Listen, I get you want some of the flair, some of the fun. I love it when a corner just decks a wide receiver. But I don't know. The NFL is changing. It always changes. That's what it is. And also, like, you know, it's just, that's the nature of any game. It's not going to be the same forever. I love football. I think maybe 1 or 2 years ago, it was like peak football in terms of how it was played, what I thought it could be, and like the different things that are in there now are what used to be there. I thought it was relatively safe. Special teams were in it. Flags weren't awful. But it's changed. And there's some interesting things that people put in. This isn't anything to do with rules, though. This is the NFL evolving, changing in terms of what it gets from college. Because as you know, players in the NFL usually come from college. And
Really?
to get a play... Yeah, I know, I was surprised too. And to get a guy from college and to just not adapt to his skill set a little bit and to just hope he completely adapts to your system is a very easy way to most likely ruin a college quarterback. There are ways like an Earhart-Perkins type of offense and approach to teach an offense to someone kind of slowly, but you know, there's a lot of ways where you can really incorporate the offense to things they know. RPOs are something you see in college, and everyone goes, RPO! Because that's a new big thing in the NFL. But I want to talk about something else that I see among a lot of young quarterbacks, and this is pretty interesting. Something I noticed from watching Mitch Trubisky, and that is this is a catchy name, the collapse of the pocket. The collapse of the pocket, because people hate staying in the pocket nowadays. You watch a lot of college quarterbacks, they're much more comfortable running out and being outside of the pocket than they are inside of the pocket. You see Mitch Trubisky, Sam Darnold was always big outside of the pocket. He runs away. Baker Mayfield is good inside the pocket. He does a good job, but he clearly likes being outside the pocket as well. Like, a lot of these quarterbacks get nervous, and instead of the old days where they just kind of sat down and tried to work inside of the pocket, they run. They run away immediately. I don't know if they're used to getting hit quite like old quarterbacks are. There's a big difference between seeing Tom Brady sit in the pocket and wait, get a maybe good throw off and get decked. And, you know, he does complain about it, but what quarterback doesn't try to sell a penalty? That's just how you play the game. Versus you know, Mitch Trubisky seeing a little bit of pressure on 3rd and 10 and just sprinting through any hole he can find in the defensive line. Like, he just runs away immediately. It's pretty incredible to see. And I don't know. I want to know what you think about that, Darius. What do you think about the fact that quarterbacks, they aren't used to taking snaps in the pocket. They take snaps from the shotgun and the pistol. Darius has not been prepped in this. This is a true, honest opinion from him. What do you think about the fact that people roll out so much? The pocket is kind of, I'm not going to say it's getting phased out, because it'll definitely come back and quarterbacks will adjust and play. You saw Jared Goff, you see Carson Wentz, really good quarterbacks staying in the pocket, but a lot of these guys don't like it there. And
Yeah. To speak to that, I'm going to say that there is still a place in the NFL for the pocket. Some of the best use it all the time, being Brady, Breeze, Roethlisberger. But a thought on that is these guys are old-fashioned. They are the grandpappies of the league, as it were. Okay. Some of these younger guys like Mahomes, Carson Wentz, Jared Goff,
Deshaun
Watson, my Mendoza line man, Russell Wilson even, they're always out of the pocket. Okay, so maybe that's just the new wave. That's just how the offenses are developing. These old-time passes are still going to be efficient, but I think that the pocket is being phased out. I think there'll always be a place for it, but it's just not good to not know that when you're going to be hit.
Yeah.
Taking those blindside hits are tough.
It is. That is a big thing. The blindside hits, even the counter adjustment to the right tackle where you see the hit and get spooked. To a certain extent, I actually think this is maybe a counter movement against the fact that to catch people up, left tackle is always a big position. Blindside is the fact that the quarterback is usually right-handed, so he looks to the right side of the field when he takes a snap initially, or he's at least turned towards the right side. He can't see the left. Left tackle is always a big position. You want to protect where the quarterback can't see, so a lot of people would put their best lineman at left tackle, or their best outside lineman. In recent years, you see a ton of teams stacking up their best rushers, their best pass rushers, at right end, because they want to attack the weak side, and if the best guy's on the left, the weak side's the right. And I think this whole pocket thing that you're seeing now where people want to roll out is a lot of quarterbacks who aren't used to sitting in the pocket seeing a deadly rush come at them and their right tackle get beat so fast right in front of them that they just kind of try to escape, A lot of the old quarterbacks are kind of used to it, but some of the younger ones get a little flustered when you see J.J. Watt coming straight for your head on the right side. That's even a possible theory to it. Just if you look at it at the pro level, that might be it. But then again, there are a lot of quarterbacks like Deshaun Watson and all them who just hate being in the pocket. They hate it. I think Jared Goff and Carson Wentz are better in the pocket. I think they get it. They love to stay there. They've really adjusted to it. I think they're much more pocket passing in the old mold. They're real big quarterbacks who don't like to stay in the pocket, like Deshaun Watson or someone like that, that are kind of much more of a, not problem, but classic example of hating the pocket. And it's curious to see which quarterbacks adjust to the old methods, whether the old methods are better, whatever it is, because backyard football is a lot harder to play than pocket passing football. Pocket passing, you stay there, you wait for the lanes to open up. It can work because your offensive line has a clear job, and they know what they're doing. Problem with backyard football is, even to a certain extent, the line can't help you if they don't know what to do. You got to trust the line to do something. If you just roll out immediately, the line's like, well, I guess we're blocking somewhere else now. What's the point of them doing anything if you just run away? The old pocket passers trust their line to do something, and a lot of the old coaches build good lines because they know it matters. And it's curious. It's change. I'm going to monitor it. Maybe I want to talk about it next week, but this is my first extended dive into this change in the NFL. It's pretty nuts, and maybe there'll be a midpoint. We're seeing, I'd like to call that midpoint Aaron Rodgers, where you see a guy like work inside of the pocket a ton, but not be uncomfortable and be just fine with rolling out and trying to extend the play. People try to be a superhero. That's what outside of the pocket is for. That's why you see Patrick Mahomes pass with his left hand outside of the pocket. People like that big outline. They like to be a superhero. And in college, that's the big thing that quarterbacks do. They run outside of the pocket. They run away from the Clemsons of college football because the talent disparity there might be way more extreme than it is in the NFL. And they're used to lines being bad. And I get that, but monitor the change in the coming years. See how it goes. See if there really are pocket passers staying in the pocket, working, playing kind of like football used to in the golden age of passing that we are still in, maybe. I don't know. It's changing too much. I don't know. It's like a weird time to be a football fan, and it's so cool, and it's so great to see a game change like this in such a weird, unfashionable form, and you get to see such weird, revolutionary ideas come up and really change the game. So while I am nervous, while I'm seeing the game I love, fell in love with, I've always loved change, I'm excited for the future of football and the weird new offenses we're going to get, the funky stuff. What do you think, Darius? What are your closing thoughts on this?
My closing thoughts are, like I said, I think that there's always a place for the pocket, but it might be a dying fad. But you did make a lot of good points.
Oh, fad. What a brutal thing to say. And with Darius's damnation of the pocket as a fad, we now go to Darius's best bets.
I'm going to keep it brief this week. I know you got baseball to watch. We're running on an hour right now. I think that I only have two for sures this week.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been hitting very often on my best bets. I'm going to be honest. But you got to stay with it. You got to be in it to win it. Can't make money, or you can't win if you're not in it. So my best bets. Matt, do you have a best bet?
Why would you trust any of my bets?
I want to hog the limelight.
No, this is your segment. I mean, I'm 0 for a bajillion on a lot of my lines, so I'm not the betting man. I know the football. I don't do the numbers in this. Let me look over some of the lines, though.
All right, I'll give you my runner-up as we wait.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with the Jets as 7-point underdogs against Chicago. Chicago's random. I'll take the 7 points. I think it's a toss-up who's going to win, so give me the points for the Jets. Bears could come out and put up a goose egg for all we know. Jets run game's good. I'll take the Long Island Jets as my runner-up.
I actually think you might be able to argue Broncos Chiefs could be best bet, to be honest with you. Although the Chiefs are so good and the Broncos are not great, like you could make a very good argument that the line is just so in favor of Kansas City right now. And this is right around the time of year when Kansas City usually gets found out.
The old Andy Reid prepped for only the first 8 weeks. Find out.
We can go. We can just make up the last 8 weeks, right? Well, Andy, I'll tell you, usually not. But that could be a best bet, but who knows?
Okay, and then my other best bet. That's an all right one. I could see the Chiefs blowing them out. I can see a world where that happens, but I would like the Broncos. But my best bet I'll keep it a simple one. Give me the Redskins. They're in first place. The Giants are 1-6. They're reeling. Why would you ever bet on the Eli Manning in 2018? I think the Redskins are the good pick, as are the Red Sox. As are your Red Sox.
As are my 2-1 down in the game Red Sox. Very depressed Red Sox.
Yeah, you guys better win game 2. Brewers didn't.
This is a big one. Wow, you need to win it before you go to LA. It's a big one. All right. And with that, I think we are finished with the football. We'll have a brief baseball talk, but if football was your thing, have a good night. See ya. After next week, I will be either too depressed to ever talk about baseball again in my life, or baseball will be over and I'll be kind of happy about it.
Wow. Too depressed to ever talk about it.
I hate Manny Machado so much. He gets a ring. Good. I hope they get him. Dude doesn't care. If they get him, they'll have another player like Starlin Castro who just doesn't care about their team and doesn't care about anything. And they'll get Machado to a huge, burdensome contract. And I love it. That'd be so sweet.
All right. All right, Matt. What do you want to talk about with baseball?
You know what I want to talk about, Darius?
No.
I want to build your spirits. I want to talk about the Milwaukee Brewers.
Do we
I know.
have to?
And it's soon, but I'm picking them to go to the World Series the next couple of years. Now, one of my big things is always regression. 2016, the Red Sox were too good. In 2017, they were not good enough. In 2018, we are finding a middle place.
Oh, 108 win middle place?
Well, I'll get to it. Darius. Give me time. I'll explain my theory. One of the big things is when you build a franchise, there's going to be a year possibly where they overshoot their boundary. Where when you're rebuilding a team, their young prospects, their guys get so hot that they just kill it one year and get way too far. You saw it with the Yankees last year. You saw it with the Brewers this year. 2 years ago, you saw it with the Red Sox. You're getting teams who are too good. They're like clearly overplaying what they are. And here's my advice for them. You earned a ton of money, right? People go to the games when you're good. People like to see a good team. And I think you guys could honestly spend $60 million. You could get $25 million starting pitcher, which is a very good one. That is like Patrick Corbin money, which would be good. You saw the Red Sox kind of do this. We didn't buy a pitcher, but we used our homegrown talent and our massive farm system to trade for one in Chris Sale. And that kind of protects you from the massive regression whiplash. You went from the Red Sox getting in the playoffs, really fighting their way up there with a good offense, to a severe pitching team. And without the adjustment of Chris Sale, kind of not protecting you from regression, but from total regression, to the point where you whiplash yourself back to being god-awful. Do you potentially, give yourself not only another playoff shot the next year with a different strategy, you give yourself a shot the year after that to be even better than the midpoint between overachieving and underachieving. That's why we're better this year. We have Chris Sale plus a good offense from 2016. We have good pitching from 2017 plus a good offense. Like, the midpoint is better because of what we traded for, because of what we added. And I think you guys can do that. You could pick up maybe Corbin if the Yankees don't buy him out with $1 billion. You could pick up another good starting pitcher. There are tons of them on the market. Like, if Eovaldi goes to free agency, he is not a bad guy to pick up. And that's only $10 to $12 million to pick up an underrated guy like that. So there you go. Your big weakness is starting pitching. Grab a couple of those guys. Then you need a second baseman, right?
Yeah, we're a little calloused from picking up big-time free agents. We tried to get Matt Garza a few years ago, and he was one of our worst pitchers. So
Yeah.
normally they randomly come to us like Chassin and Miley. So I don't really want, unless we go out and get an ace like Corbin, I don't really think there's any need for it. We still have Jimmy Nelson. Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
We have Jimmy Nelson coming. We got Chase Anderson, who's definitely going to bounce back. You're talking about regression. He regressed a lot this year, so he should be a little bit back to his form from last year. And then Woodruff is coming, about to set the world ablaze. And then Chassin we got for 3 more years.
I think, hey, if you're happy for that, I think, your farm system's really going to come up more. You guys weren't fully ready. This isn't your full farm system's power. You can trade for someone better. You can really get a lot more. You could buy some more. You could buy a bat. I highly doubt. Look at Ian Kinsler in this game. He will not cost you $10 million next year. He's not playing well enough, but that is a terrific defensive, good power bat. The contact is a little here or there, but that's not a bad bat to pick up at second base. He's old, good leader, hard player, has clear upside. You could pick up one of those for cheap. You could even pick up another guy for cheap. You could really add to your team with the extra money you earned this year to the point where you could have flashes of non-regression and just being better and being a solid team. I think you add that together, you maybe get a little bit more aggressive because you guys weren't super aggressive this year at the trade deadline. You could really have you have budding superstar Christian Yelich, who I love, but because I'm a nerdy baseball head and they all love him, I think your team really is the team to pick right now. They are awesome. They'll be fun to watch. They'll be great. Christian Yelich, to me, is a high contact, possibly 30 home run guy next year. This could be super exciting to watch. Locaine is lovable. This is a team. This is a good team. This is a team that could emerge, really build themselves. I'm not saying they're going to be like the Giants or anything, but this is a team that could elevate their fan base, their spending limit, kind of like the Giants did, at the beginning of the decade. And I hope I've refilled your hope and set your world ablaze with hope, Darius, that even though you lost to the hateable Manny Machado.
Yeah, I'm in the fourth step right now, I'd say, and I'm in the recovery step of what's the 7-step process? What's that called?
A process of death, process of grief.
Process of grief, yes. I'm in the fourth step right now. I'm starting to look towards next year, see that there is some light, but it's really tough to get back to the Game 7 of the NLCS. I mean, you can try all you want. The Yankees spend all the money. The Giants spend all the money. The Cubs have all the young talent. They didn't get anywhere near there. So to get this far is a blessing, but also a curse to know that you were one game away and that you may not get back anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like our futures. We're not losing anybody but Moustakas. I'm sure that there's going to be a ton of regression next year. I'm surprised there wasn't a lot more this year, considering last year was a surprise season.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. We'll see.
There's a definite platform for improvement financially and player-wise, prospects, everything. This is exciting. This is it, dude.
Yeah, speaking about this is it, your team's playing right now.
Yeah, well, Benny Bunny's got them hopped.
I saw.
I'm just mostly depressed that we're down. I say if we're taking the loss, we might as well bean Manny Machado and get it over with. Let's get a good brawl.
Start the
fights. No, we need to win both
rivalry.
games. We need to win both games at home because we got to go to LA, and then they joked
Game
about
2
it.
is important. Don't lose home field. Ooh,
Mookie Betts should take second base.
Yeah, I heard. That's interesting.
They said he might. I think
he definitely will. He should at least. Look at that, 47 wins, for the Orioles. 61 games back. Holy jeez.
What a classic team. And I think with that, we've closed with our football and baseball segments.
Oh, well, we got to give our World Series pick.
Oh, our
And then we'll wrap it up.
Mine has to be the Red Sox.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. How many games?
I was debating that today. I was thinking 4 or 6.
Okay. Give me.
Someone said Sox in 5, and I was like, that's not right. We don't let them win one game. I think they'll be a little fighty at the end. I'm hoping 4. Actually, I'll go 4 or 5. I don't think 6. I think if the Sox go down a couple games, it's going to be hard for them to fight back.
Yeah, I'm
Changing my mind, 4 or 5. What are you thinking?
My one take from this World Series is that a lot of these balls in Boston we'd have a lot more runs because a lot of these balls are just dying due to the cold air. It's really interesting how you see all these morning track shots that are just dying. I'll take the Sox in 7. Give me my baseball while I still have it. I'll take as much of it as I can get.
You want the spooky game. All right,
Yeah,
all right.
I'll take Game 7 on Halloween. I probably won't watch Game 7. Well, I'll watch it. It'll be on. It won't be the main focus in the room, but give me as much baseball as I can get. I really don't care who wins the series at this point. I'm sorry, Matt. I can't root for a team who is leading the league in payroll. That just goes against one of my highest moral philosophies in life.
Hating
big market baseball. That's up there. There's meat. There's killing animals. There's child abuse. There's drunk driving, and then there's big market baseball. That's where it goes for me.
Well, gotta. I don't want to say become the Yankees. You got to do something. You got to raise some money to fight the Yankees.
Yeah,
all right.
Yes, I understand. It's just like the steroid era, right? You can't fight it. Join them. Can't beat them. Join them.
You got to join them to fight them.
Yeah. If you can't beat them, join them to beat them.
Mm-hmm.
Join. Yeah. All right.
At least we're fighting the good fight. That's all that matters. In a year, the Red Sox will not be the highest payroll in baseball because the Yankees will pay 3 guys $40 million to be on their team.
Oh, it's coming. You can already tell Harper and Machado will be there.
Manny is sizing up for his Yankees uniform right now. God. And with that is the end of the First and 20 podcast for this week, week 8 of the NFL season. We will see you, maybe baseball free, in week 9. And with that, we'll close up. Cue the music.